So welcome to another episode of the Women Petpreneurs podcast with your host, Mary Oquendo. My guest today is Kyla Williams, and we have a bonus guest today, and that would be her husband, Tony. So yeah, just pan the camera.
Hey, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
You see us?
Hello.
I can see the hand waving.
Oh gosh. Yeah. There we go.
Okay, so I always like to start off with, how did you get involved in the pet industry? I know this is a second career for you.
Oh yes. So I grew up with a Cocker Spaniel, but my grandmother, I lived with my grandmother, and we didn't know how you were supposed to handle the dog. I think he got groomed. His name was Smokey. He got groomed maybe 4 times a year. And we're in South Florida. He has that heavy coat and fleas everywhere. So that was my first introduction, maybe when I was about 6 or 7 years old, to that dogs get grooming. I didn't know how often or anything, like we said, but yeah, she liked Cocker Spaniels. And so that was my first introduction to dogs, animals, and I love them. Fast forward to me being 41 years old, I was working at an elementary school, 17 years teaching, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, the kids are fine. Everybody will tell you that. Usually I did elementary and the kids are fine, but it's just more and more paperwork that piles on you. So I said, I just don't want to do this. I want to do something I like. And then I thought about it. Well, what do I like? And I said, I really like animals, but I can't leave this teaching job because I've been on it for 17 years and I have 3 degrees. So I don't know what groomers make. So we're kind of like, I don't know if we're still going to be able to pay our bills if I, try to do this grooming. Maybe I can do it part-time while I work full-time teaching and see where we go from there. But Tony, would you like to tell them more about why we decided, how we got to?
Yes. Well, like she was saying with the teaching thing, she would come home like in the afternoon time and be complaining about, teaching and the kids and doing the paperwork and everything. And, I had my own business at the time, which was home inspection. And I just told her to find something that she enjoyed doing and turn it into a business. And I knew, she loved pets and animals and things like that. And that's what she decided to do. And she started taking private lessons in Athens. She would drive like an hour and a half away.
That's right. Shout out to Liz Stewart. She was my first teacher. She taught me the absolute basics. So I do want to thank you, Liz Stewart, for that.
And she was driving like an hour and a half away on the weekend, learning to groom and everything. And it was going pretty well. And at first I was kind of like, dog grooming, I don't know about this. Is there any money in this? To be honest, I never knew of or heard of any minorities in dog grooming. So I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do, I will support you. But at the back of my mind, I was like, okay, how are we going to pay these bills?
I thought the same thing too, because it's not, growing up, some of our, mothers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever, may have had to work in service industries. And they were determined that I was going to have to work in doing service industry. And it's absolutely nothing wrong with working in service industry, but they really wanted us to go off to, be a teacher or be something in the academic world. But I'm so happy that I fell upon grooming. So we decided we wanted to make our basement into a grooming salon. And the HOA said, no, I'm not doing that. They only had two clients a week. But they said, no, can't have that. So we decided to get a mobile van because I was lucky enough to ride out with a groomer in Sonoya, by the name of Lynn Cobb and her husband, Sam Cobb. They were very nice to me and let me ride around for several months just to see how mobile went. I had no idea what mobile grooming was. I was just going to be happy to have the basement grooming had that going well, but the HOA shut it down. And luckily in this, each time we got shut down, it was to a higher or better position. So we got the mobile van from Wagon Tails. And let me tell you, I had no idea those things, they cost so much. We bought it brand new and not having enough experience really to do anything with it. We really took a huge risk and chance. So luckily, you know, people pretty much, the dogs were clean and I was on time. And I think that was pretty much why I had clients in the beginning.
Okay, but here's the thing too. So, and Tony, I'm gonna make Tony feel better.
Yes.
So Tony, I worked for corporate, and then they pissed me off. I'm at a trade show, and without even consulting him, okay, I was so mad. I put a deposit down on a mobile grooming van.
Wow.
This was 2001. Okay.
Wow.
And he, his credit, well, his jaw dropped. I told him I was leaving corporate, and he goes like, well, where are you going to go to work then?
Yeah.
I can see that van over there. I just put a deposit on it, and it's just hit the ground.
Wow. He
Hit
just
the
happened to have the money, because
No,
usually that's a hindrance for most people at
no,
first.
no, we did not have the money for that. We had the money for the deposit is what we
Yes, us too. Us too.
okay. And the deposit at that time was only $500. But credit, they were like giving away credit in 2001. I mean,
Wow.
my dog was
Wow.
getting credit cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was a Dodge. And Dodge rolled the whole conversion into a vehicle loan for us.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, I still had to make that van payment. And I honestly, and throughout the years of mobile grooming, what people wanted was clean dogs, and that
Yes.
time. I remember going to one house. It was an older gentleman, and I get there, and on time. I said I was going to be there whatever time I said, and I was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he looked surprised that I was there on time. He goes, the first service person who's ever been here when at the time they said they were going to be here.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that the way it's supposed to be? And they're like, no, they don't even call and tell me they're late.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that whole being on time, all right.
That's
And
huge.
exactly. That is really and that's also what built my business too, was that whole reliability factor.
Reliability, absolutely. Because I know we weren't that good, but at least they really did appreciate the service. And then it got to be a routine. Yeah.
I was like a year and a half out of grooming, out of corporate's grooming school.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was not doing show trims.
Right. Exactly.
I was doing peak trims.
Right. Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
you know what? That was what my client base wanted. That's the client base I sought. All right. So the people who wanted clean, cute dogs, okay, and that you showed up when you said you were going to show up.
And you showed up. That even still today, because grooming is such on demand everywhere. Salon grooming, house call grooming, mobile, any kind of grooming you want it's so in demand that I think groomers are getting a better appreciation from society and the public in general. I think they can't push us around much like that.
Well, and I think that also because I think groomers were so put against the wall that they started to enforce their boundaries.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay? And I credit the fact that I did not go back into the workforce because I was a stay-at-home mom until I had I had 3 teenage daughters. At the time, 2 were in college already, 1 was still in high school.
Oh.
And I think your patience level is like down to 0 at this point. So when I went back to work, I wasn't tolerating. I have teenagers at home.
Yeah.
I'm not tolerating this crap at work.
Right, right.
So I had really good boundaries, and I do credit terrible teenagers for the boundaries.
Who pushed you and made you do it.
They made me have boundaries.
Well, that's usually how it happens, like you said, your back is against the wall and you get fed up, and changes have to have to take place one way or another.
Okay. So let's scoot over to Tony real quick. I want to
Okay.
ask Tony a question.
Sure.
Hey,
So was this a good decision that she made to be a groomer?
what was it again?
Was this a good decision that she made to be a groomer?
Of course.
Okay.
It really was. And I'm proud of the fact that she did step out and try something new and different, because it has opened up my view and my opinion on grooming and everything like that. Because like I said before, I didn't know anyone that went into this field, and I didn't know anything about it. Me, I like to research things and be equipped with everything. And I was just like, this isn't working. This may not work. But it did work out, and I'm trying to get this camera right. Sorry.
Yeah, your thumb is blocking you. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Okay, sorry about that. But it did work out. But it was tough in the beginning, and I'm not gonna lie to anybody. But we always believe in ourselves, and we work together, we push each other, and we made it work.
Okay. All right. So yeah, my husband had a lot of reservations about me starting a business. Okay. So, and because of that, I went and I did a lot of business education. So I got a SCORE advisor. For those who don't know what that is, it's SCORE.org. It's like the Society of, it's like retired executives is really what it is. Okay.
Mhm.
And it's a volunteer organization, and they help new businesses start off on the right foot, right? So I joined the local Chamber of Commerce, and they had tax classes, which
Yeah.
served me really well, because it was really eye-opening, because the class was taught by two retired IRS agents, one from federal and one on the state level.
Nice.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah. And about what is your obligations and how they nail you.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
So that was like, oh yeah, and for those who, do income under the table, who don't report all of their income, there's a couple problems with that. Okay.
Mhm.
One is
yeah.
if you get tagged in an audit,
Yeah.
and your lifestyle does not match what you're claiming, then you know what? They're going to look really deep. And the thing with the IRS is they can go back as far as they want to go back.
Wow.
They can. So if they decide you've been playing kind of loose with your tax returns, that whole 7-year thing, that goes out the window. They can,
Yeah.
they can literally go back until the day you opened up your business. So
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
so
Have you been audited?
no, I make
Me
sure I'm not audited. And if I am
Yeah.
audited, I'm prepared for that. Okay.
Exactly. That's why I pay a bookkeeper every month too. I don't play with the
I
IRS.
don't play with my taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not. And the second thing is it gives more, if you go to sell your business,
Uh-huh.
you can't say it decreases the value of the business if you're not reporting.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's still by the revenue. That's true. That's
And
so
then
very
the
true.
other reason is if you want to go get a loan, it's based on your reported income.
It is, yeah, with the bank. Yep, you have to report everything, cash as much as you can to qualify for the loan. We were lucky that we had our home before we started our business. But if you do, I guess, is it the advice to give yourself paycheck stubs or something like
And
that?
I would always tell you, talk to your accountant.
Oh, that's true. Yep, the
No,
accountant knows.
because everybody's needs are different.
That's true.
And talk to your accountant. I will tell you what I do is I have several bank accounts, but one of the bank accounts is titled "Not My Money."
Yeah, I love that. That's true. I like that.
Not my money. And what goes into that fund is whatever I'm paying the speakers, because those are checks are written on that account, and my tax money every month. money gets put over that, so that when April just came around, so there was still taxes I owed. My accountant was actually very excited about that. He's like, you owe more money. You're doing great. We're up to quarterly tax payments for next year. Okay. So I had the money. So when you watch that account dwindle, but it's not your money, it's because you put in the proper amount of income, of money in there, so that you could pay that first quarterly tax and any tax that you owe. Always like, man, yeah, good thing that's not my money.
Yeah. Well, we're working to get like you. We end up owing every year. We have to get on a payment plan until we can, just write that check out and say, here you go.
Yeah, your accountant should be telling you what your quarterly tax payments are. So it's a little bit easier to do that. The IRS prefers it that way.
Right.
Because they're getting money throughout the year, and they're less likely to be annoyed at the end of the year when they realize you owe a lot of money.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're the one creditor I have. I do not mess with.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to get on their list either.
I don't want to get no. Anyway.
That's for sure. So how long have you been growing? Since 2001, did you say?
I've been on my own business since 2002 is when I officially launched, when I got my van.
Okay.
But I've been a groomer since 2000, late 1999.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, that is wonderful. Did your husband ever work with you in the mobile?
Oh God, no. And he will be the first one to give that same sentiment. So when I first went mobile, he was a little nervous about me going to people's houses. Okay. So he came with me the first week. Okay. And then I had a client follow me from corporate. She had 2 German Shepherds who did not do well in a shop. One was fear aggressive, the other was cage aggressive. Literally, this dog broke 2 teeth on a cage door.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So mobile was a much better option, but they were huge, huge German Shepherds. Can you imagine the amount of coat in my van?
I know. Well, I was going to ask you, what kind of van did you have?
It was called the Custom Vehicles. It was not, Hanvey wasn't around yet. Okay. Wagon Tails was. And literally the reason I chose that van was because it was the first one in my line of sight after being pissed off. Oh, they were there. So it was just,
gotcha.
And the trade show is really what made that decision.
Okay.
And my husband is a very neat person. Okay. Oh. He likes things clean. Okay.
That's Tony. We're opposites. I can't have clutterbug.
So my husband, the hair was so much for him, but that client was a Danbury police officer. Okay, she had to actually help him out of the van, and Tony, he's a big guy. Okay, he's a big, tough-looking guy. Okay, and she had to help him out of the van and get him a paper bag so he could breathe. Yeah, because he couldn't breathe with all the hair.
The first time what kind of dog was it that you were doing? Shedding? What kind of dog was it?
It was a shepherd. They were shepherds.
Yeah, you did say the shepherd. Yeah.
And
it's never again, huh?
That was it. Now here's the thing. One of the shepherds, the male shepherd, really liked him. Oh. And every once in a while, I would make him come with me because Zeus was so much better behaved when my husband was there. But now my husband worked for the New York City Transit Authority. So he was planting equipment. And he had, well, you know those painter suits? They're like all white and they're like paper and they have the little hook on it.
Yeah.
So he would come with me and he would put on this painter suit, put it in nice tight on his face.
It was that.
Yep.
It was that unnerving for him.
Yep. And then he would just sit and talk with Zeus while I groomed him. Oh. And then he'd get out of the van and he'd take the suit off and toss it in the garbage.
Well, at least he made that connection with Zeus for Zeus to have a little better spa day for that
Yes,
time.
yes. But after those two shepherds, he decided that he did not need to drive with me.
Did you get a helper or did you just
No,
do it?
no, I just, you know what, it was, I did do a lot of large dogs, but I
Wow.
did, for the most part, well-behaved large dogs. There was
Oh.
the odd one out there. And sometimes I would have the owner come in and help. And other times it was, you know what, I can't do this dog here.
Mhm.
I started a weight limit and now my first weight limit literally went, dogs had to be under 100 pounds was my first. Okay.
You took everything breathing then, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I like big dogs, you know, but that
Nothing wrong with
120
that.
pound golden retrievers were just a little bit too much.
Oh yeah, for one person, heck yeah.
One person. So the first weight limit went down to 100. And then after that, the next weight limit a couple of years later went down to 75.
Jeez. More power to you. We
Yeah,
have a
but again, but you know what?
20-pound weight limit.
I've always said a well-behaved 75-pound dog can be easier to groom than a 3-pound Yorkie.
That's true. Yeah, you're not lying on that one. That's true.
You know?
Absolutely.
So that 75-pound dog that jumps up on the table, jumps into the tub, back and just stands for the grooming. That's
Mhm.
a difficult dog to groom. Now, if I have to lift that dog, that's another
Right.
thing.
Right.
But well-behaved large dogs sometimes can be easier than the little twisty turny small dogs.
Oh, absolutely. I usually tell owners that they're harder to do, obviously, like a grandfather clock, they're squirming around and you gotta be extra delicate because they love it's only 2 ounces, that doesn't change the price.
Oh no, in fact, it probably increases the price.
Right. Exactly.
It's why I like that whole hourly rate thing, because your 3-pound squirmy dog is taking me longer than the 75-pound lab. Yeah, you're paying. But now, as a minority couple, right?
Mhm.
When did Tony actually join you in the business? How long were you grooming before he joined you?
Oh, okay. Well, let's just say how long had I been grooming when we got the van? Let's put it this way: January 1st, 2016. We got our basement situated for the salon. July 1st, and that was my first time. I was still going back and forth to Athens getting lessons. July 1st, we bought a brand new wagon tails van with me knowing nothing. Nothing at all. I don't recommend that. I definitely don't recommend that route. But Tony joined. My mother passed in the middle of me owning the van. My mother got sick the day after we got the van. So I was trying to hustle to get clients and see about her. She was critically ill. Yeah, critically ill at the time. So I'm running around in the mobile, and in the evening I'm driving down to Macon. I'm 30 minutes south of Atlanta, McDonough, Georgia now, and then I'm driving an hour, 45 minutes down to Macon to try to see my mother, who was sent to that hospital because it was for critically ill people, and it was rough. It really was rough. So Tony decided, because he was the breadwinner at the time while I was trying to build a business with his home inspection. He saw I was doing well, and he's like, let me help. I could take off this day or that day from home inspections. And then it just got more and more popular that maybe 6 months after getting a mobile, Tony joined full time, and he quit his job.
But
and became
I can tell you what's funny about that is when I first went into the van, well, she was like, oh, just come and help me out bathing some dogs. And I'm like, how hard can it be? You're just throwing water on the dog, putting some shampoo, drying the dog. I work harder doing bathing than I did on my home inspection. Those dogs wore me out. Oh my goodness. It seemed like it's very simple, something simple to do, but I mean, it's tough. But I mean, if it makes sense, it's a good tough. you know, it's more than just putting water on the dog, putting shampoo, and drying the dog. It's more to it. It's a technique. I mean, you have to know, coat conditions and different things and different shampoos and to use and conditioners. So it was a learning process. But I took the challenge on and I enjoy it. And like Kyla said, I end up stopping my home inspection business and just going in the van with her full time. And I love it. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, how can you work with your spouse all day, every day? Then you go home to each other. What is it like? I'm like, well, when we get in the van, she's the boss.
It works out better that way. And when we get home, I'm the boss.
So we got all that straight. So she's the boss of the van. And to be honest with you, I started just helping out bathing, but I always say this to her. I say, well, if you sit behind Brady, which meaning Tom Brady, long enough, you'll learn something. So I call her my Tom Brady. And I picked several things up along the way, rounding feet, how to do the sanitary, and anal glands and plucking ears and different things like that I've picked up that I added to bathing and different things like that. I could help strip a dog. We don't like doing that, but sometimes we have to. But it's been challenging, but it's fun. And I get to work with my best friend every day and make money.
Okay. I admire couples who can work together. I know that's just simply not going to happen because my husband seems to think he's the boss and like, no,
Yeah.
no, that's not how it works.
It took Tony a little bit because men sometimes want to know it's not that you do it this way. Then I let him do it, and
Yeah. You know what? This is how we do things, okay? But I think no. This is how we do things. So
yeah.
Though I will say, because I took advantage of how neat my husband likes to be, and I paid him once a week to deep clean my van.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is cynical. Well, Tony used to get the tips. I just give him the tips. But I mean,
I don't know, Tony. Maybe there's some labor law violations going on here.
Not with family. But no, it's really been a blessing and joyful for us. Actually, even some of the teachers, I have to tell you, one time I'm in a professional development class, and the principal says, I know you all are tired, but let me tell you something. You all signed this contract and nobody's got a gun to your head. And that stuck with me. I was like, you know what? She's right. Nobody has a gun. I don't want to be here. Let me start thinking of some ways to get out. And that really did spur my wanting to do something different. And like I said, I wanted to do something that I felt I would love to do, even if it was going to be less money. So the one thing I did want to say, our very first year, mobile grooming, I made the exact same thing. I made teaching. As a matter of fact, it was more because I started July 1st to December, 6 months. So I never really thought about it. In 6 months, I made what I made in 1 year teaching with mobile. So it's been a joy for us. And I hope other minorities will consider it and get into it.
We're going to take a quick commercial break.
All right. Let's do that.
And we're back. Okay, so I wanted to talk about as a minority couple, what has been some of the challenges that you have had?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, first of all, there aren't a lot of Black groomers around, but in Atlanta, that's probably where you're going to find, or the Atlanta metro area, the majority of them. So we're in Henry County. It's 30 minutes south of Atlanta. And if you go maybe a county south of us or a county east of us, it starts to get a little bit more rural. So one of our first times going out to, because you go everywhere when you first start mobile, anybody who calls, you'll go an hour away or whatever just to get the experience. But we went one time to a place, Covington, Georgia, and the person answers the door and they're shocked that I'm standing there. It was an older white gentleman, and he was like, "Can I help you? I have on a grooming smock and my Vans out there." And I like, "Oh yeah, we're here to groom the dog." And then he starts acting like he doesn't know, what I'm talking about or anything. And he calls someone, and I guess they explain it to him. So a lot of people aren't used to seeing diversity, whether it's a person of color. Even my husband gets it actually with some of our regular clients. They look at me and they talk to me, even though they've seen him for years. Sometimes people still do you feel they aren't that comfortable sometimes with you? Why do you think that is? I mean, they love us, they trust us with the dogs and everything, but just having a simple conversation, sometimes they don't look you in the eye.
Yeah, they what I get a lot is, it's like, like Kyla, like she said, if I'm standing up there with her and we're having a conversation with the customer, they want interact with me, they want to engage with me, they would talk to her. And I'm not sure what it is, but I get that a lot. And like she was saying, some places here in Georgia, and a lot of the rural areas, we get a lot of, those stares, like, oh, they're Black.
Yeah.
And, at first it was a little uncomfortable or whatever, but then, we kind of got used to it or whatever, and we're just here to do a job. And at the end of the day, they love the groom and they called us back. So that's the only thing that matters to me. So, they got over their fear, and we were just starting out. We got over our fear, and we made money, and they love the groom.
All right. So I have a question for you that I want to hear it from your perspective. Okay. So I've been going to, I've been going to trade shows since literally the day I almost started grooming, because right around that same time, one of the trade shows was starting up, and guess where we went? We went to the trade show. I've been going to trade shows. And in fact, because I was in the Northeast, I had a choice of 3 trade shows that were all within driving distance. And I went to all 3 of them. Right. So I always was always found them to be valuable, not only for the education, but to be able to talk to vendors, to see the new equipment. But what I didn't see, okay, I don't think I saw a Black groomer at any trade show up until the last, 5-6 years. Right? And it's quite possible that people were there and, maybe I didn't notice because I'm either in class or whatever. But why do you think, and especially in a place like Atlanta, because even in Atlanta in the very beginning, I don't recall seeing Black groomers there. So now, why do you think Black groomers are not going to trade shows?
Now, that's a very interesting point. I haven't been grooming long, 7 years. Well, 6.5 in July be the 7th. So my very first experience, the lady Liz Stewart, who I paid to teach in Athens, she would hype up the Atlanta Pet Fair and say, "Oh, you're gonna have a great time, blah, blah, this and that." And so I was very much looking forward to it. I'd never heard of it before then, but I wasn't in the grooming industry, so I may not have. So I did go and I got classes and I absolutely loved it. That was my first time. I got pictures with Sam Cole, somebody else on groom team. I can't remember throwing some names out, but I really loved the equipment and I loved the trade show. It blew me away. That was 2016. That was my very, very first. And then I went to the next one, 2017. Tony went with me that time, and that was his first time going to it. He also loved it. I'm not exactly sure why a lot of minorities haven't gone, other than they may not feel like, some may not feel like it's a safe space, or that their talents may not be recognized as much as others. I think it really, once you go to the trade shows, and there may not be going to all of them. Like you said, you were able to go to 3. You
Yeah.
know, if you're kind of in the South area, I mean, I think that we have maybe Fun in the Sun, and you know, then there's Atlanta, and then you got to take a airplane to get any place else. So there's that cost also involved, and not, you know, not just for people of color, but you know, maybe especially because we aren't a lot of business owners yet. You know, we are out there, especially in Atlanta. I'm, you know, learning now. There are a lot of business minority business owners, but we have decided Pet Atlanta Pros. I just joined that group. I was just invited to that group. They are joining together with vets and trying to attract other minorities just into grooming, you know, for their dogs and care. So that's one way I guess you could start, is just showing how to, you know, maybe care for the dog, and then maybe others will find some interest in what we do.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think, you know, going to that first trade show, and I was a new groomer, was like being a kid in a candy store.
It was. Yeah, it was awesome. It really was.
So, I mean, I think I would just say, you know what, if you've never been to a trade show, try and get to one. There's
Yes.
plan for it.
I recommend it. I absolutely recommend it. The speakers are phenomenal. I mean, there's something for everybody in there. I don't care how long you've been grooming. You can still learn something from somebody in those trade shows.
Oh, well, let me tell you something. So I was at Pasadena, and I'm retired. I'm a retired groomer. I still bought stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I still have personal dogs.
Right. And I think the moment that you aren't excited about any of it, it's time to take a little break, maybe, you know, 2 days off or something, or something, so that you can get back excited into what you're doing. But trade shows, I hear, are one way to do that.
Right. So besides, actually, I don't know if I want to announce it. Maybe I'll let you say. Do you know who might be speaking at an upcoming positive educational training summit that I have going on?
Well, possibly, perhaps, maybe. Uh-oh.
Take your time.
I'm so excited, maybe me. Kyla Williams. Hopefully, I would be so honored if I could do that. That would be wonderful.
So we'll talk about, so what I'm thinking specifically is the September Business Summit. And I have 2 things, and you know what, maybe even some listeners will sort of chime in on this one, right? I don't think maybe a workshop on how to work with your spouse.
Oh yeah, we could do that. That's for sure.
You know, because I think that's great. And I think if Ernesto and I could work harmoniously, we would. All right. But we both have very, very distinct ways of doing things. And my husband is one of these people that you got to do everything start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily. Okay. All right.
Does he like to go in a certain order of what he likes?
Well, it's not, you know, for grooming, that would work. But for other aspects of business, doesn't mean that I'm going to do this task right now and finish it, and then do this task and finish it, and do this task. He's going to do everything at one time.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, no, I need breaks.
Right. Oh gosh, yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
I'm not going to sit down, return phone calls, do emails, do my books, clean something. No.
It does take some, you know, I'm not going to say it was all peaches and cream and roses. We really didn't get into anything. It was just, we needed to find a groove, you know.
Okay.
Communicate non-verbally sometimes, obviously, when you have the dryer going on and stuff. So you kind of just, you know, to make your life easier, you want to communicate as best as you can, working together.
And the other one might be something on diversity, or the importance of diversity in the grooming
Yes.
industry. All right. And I think our industry has long been the domain of white women. Okay. So that's kind of like almost like the poster child for it.
Mhm.
And if that's all people see, then they don't see the diversity. Okay. Which would explain why, you know what, people look at your husband and think, whoa, 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 this is not fit.
Right.
Who I
Right.
think
Absolutely. That's
doing.
and I mean as well. I don't fit. And I didn't realize it on my website. Because sometimes I will say this, I am in Atlanta and maybe about 65 to 70% of my clientele is Black. And forgot what I was talking about with that one. Sometimes people are surprised, even Black people, that I'm Black. That's what I was trying to say, because they're not used to seeing a Black groomer. That's what I was getting at. So it's surprising for everybody, and everybody can learn something, that this is a viable career and a job, and you can make a living, especially in these times now in it. So I want people to get excited about that.
So, and I think a lot of it is because there's that lack of representation, then we rely on how people are portrayed
Right.
via media.
Right.
I
Correct.
had a wonderful, I mean, she was the nicest human being. She would literally give you the shirt off her back, but she was in an area where there was like, I don't know, 3 Black people in the entire town.
Yeah.
And she couldn't, the doorbell rang, I was there and the doorbell rang, and she couldn't answer it because it was the UPS, and the UPS driver was a Black male. And she was absolutely petrified. I mean, you could see the fear on her face.
Right.
Right?
If you aren't used to certain cultures and you only watch certain channels or certain programs and things, sometimes that's all you're gonna know, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about Eskimos, but I think the igloos, right? If that's still correct. That's all I got. See, so I need more representation myself. See, it could benefit everybody.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope to see more representation, not only in the grooming industry, but also in the education field.
Oh, absolutely. That's huge. It's become so huge. You started what, 2011 with the education and online?
I started online 2011. And for those who were like, did that pass you by? Probably, because it wasn't a very well-run business. Let's kind of just leave it at that.
Right. But
You
but yeah, online, yeah. I mean, teaching is so huge. And I want to say I really did enjoy teaching when I taught. I didn't like how things changed every other minute. But I do want to share what we can to help anybody get started in this wonderful business. And I want to thank actually you, Mary, because you gave us this platform. I think it started on Facebook. I want to see more representation of minorities in the competition rings, even being a speaker, just being some other diverse leaders. And I think that business owners that would definitely get more people involved when they see that they can ascend to other things, you know. So I'm very excited about that. And I thank you for seeing my Facebook post. I think I asked where are our, because I was thinking at the time you maybe had to have a national certified, I forgot, grooming thing. And you don't, to be a leader, you just need to have the experience and really know what you're talking about.
You need to know the topic that you're teaching. Okay.
Right.
So for me, I will never teach anyone how to groom. I will never show you how to do a top knot. I will never show you how to do Asian fusion, because that is not my wheelhouse. Okay. And if I'm teaching those classes, if anyone asks me to teach it, I'm going to go there and have the slide is going to say, I am not the right person to teach this class. You want to teach this person's class because they're way better than me. Okay.
That's right. You should be honest up front. Yeah.
So yeah, but that's not what I'm good at. But I don't have any certification. So I've never pursued that part of grooming. I have,
Yeah, you're very successful. Yeah.
but I don't. It was never a desire to compete. I have, my clientele was strictly pet grooming. So I just didn't pursue that. What I am good at, okay, is business and
It's
safety,
the business. Yeah.
what I teach. And that is what makes me different.
That's right. I think we all have gifts. And just like you said, the teaching that you can do for business, everybody's needing that right now. Everybody, before the pandemic, especially now, everything is so, it's always been kind of, in business up and down. You don't know what's going to happen. It's still that way, but business has changed since the pandemic. And everybody kind of needs some guidance with that.
I think what the pandemic did is to open up people's eyes to make sure that your business is healthy and not just winging it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
When the pandemic hit, that was 2020, I had literally just retired, just moved across the country, and now I'm going to be teaching full time. Woohoo, go me, right?
Right. Oh, wow.
And so I started off the first membership, which was $47 a month, and it was basically a live workshop every month. And I was doing really well. And then the pandemic hit, and then all the groomers, they're all worried about putting food on their table, and they're looking to see where they're cutting expenses. And
Right.
yeah, let's get rid of that $47 a month payment.
Yep. You already know. Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
But it forced me to pivot.
Yeah.
Okay. Forced me to change my business model, all right, into what people wanted. And that's when the summit memberships came out. And I doubled the price and did so much better.
Yeah, that's it right there. We noticed that too. Yeah.
So
we equate a higher price to sometimes a better product.
better product and what people wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. More than anything, it's if you can deliver what they need, what they're starving for, what they can't get anywhere, especially during the pandemic, because no one was moving anywhere.
Yeah, you know what? They still wanted education.
Right. Right.
Now they couldn't go to trade shows. Well, I meant to go, but now you couldn't.
Right. Right. So that's how long have you had that? 11 years? 12 years?
So initially started in 2011 and went through several rebrands.
Okay.
And the last rebrand was basically in 2018. That's when I started a membership. And that was the monthly membership that had just the one workshop. So I'm still a membership, right? So that hasn't changed. It's just, you know what? I needed different skills than when I initially started. And I had to learn how to do things differently.
Absolutely. And I've noticed that just hopefully in any profession or career, you're picking up skills and learning new skills each time, each set, and almost troubleshooting too. I learn a lot from my mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. I like to say I am a quick study. I will learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, that too. Even better if I can learn from yours.
Much better if I can learn from your mistakes than from my mistakes. But yeah, I will. In fact, my whole speaking program that I have to help people to create workshops and get out there and teach. There's a lot of mistakes I made.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of mistakes. But I learned from all of them. And, so it helps me to make better business decisions as far as that is concerned. But that was, again, anything, if you're going from one thing into another, okay,
yeah,
there's a learning curve, and there's going to be a different skill set that you need to learn.
That is so incredibly true.
People assume now I can fix any technical problem, and that's not true.
Because it changes so fast.
Things change so fast.
It does.
Because I know the tech I need for this doesn't mean I know all the tech.
Exactly. What is it called? Chat GPS. I'm trying to learn that myself.
You know what? AI is new. Okay.
Yes.
I haven't played around with Chat GPT yet, but I do have an account with Hello Scribe, which is another one. But that because I got on an AppSumo deal. If you don't know what AppSumo is, it's fabulous. It's what AppSumo is that it's sort of like the Kickstarter of the tech world.
Oh,
Okay.
never heard.
They have products that are viable, they're working. Okay. But they need to get some funds and they need to get subscribers in. So they will offer their new tech at really great prices. So a lot of times it's all lifetime access. I have lifetime access to a transcription service for the summits. So not only can I offer a transcription in English, if somebody needs it in another language, I can provide a transcript in another language.
Oh, that is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I think so.
So I have now lifetime access to Hello Scribe. And you know what? It's an AI. It's definitely not going to take the place of a copywriter. It is definitely what I see it for me as sometimes just getting over that whole writer's block thing.
Right. Are they still offering that? The lifetime?
I don't know if there
Oh.
if it is, but you know what? Go over to appsumo.com. I'm sure somewhere I actually have an affiliate code for AppSumo.
Yeah.
You know, it is one of those things. It's one of the emails I always open on my email. I may get like literally 100 pieces of garbage every day. Open up
But that one.
see what's going on, see if that's interesting, if I want it or not.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have one or two emails like that. I think it's called Bath and Body Works.
Okay, so before we go, do you have any words of wisdom for upcoming people who are interested in becoming a groomer? Let's start there.
You have to be someone who cares more about another living creature's well-being. I mean, if you're not someone who I think can be a little caring, nurturing, almost like a nurse and a teacher put together, I think are what we are. And if you are somebody who's devoted to just animal safety, well, I think about if you're just someone who's devoted to animals, that's where you start first. You know, you really have to, really love the animal, because they're not gonna always love grooming, and they're not gonna always do lovable things to you. So you have to be able to be loving to them sometimes, even when they aren't. And I really I say, don't get into this, please don't, if you don't really love the dog. Yeah.
Okay, so, Kyla, thank you. And Tony, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Mary, thank you so much for this. I was just really, really surprised. And I just want to thank you for giving First Place Dog Grooming and First Place Mobile Dog Grooming a chance to speak with your audience. And I hope to speak more with more people in the grooming industry. And hopefully that speaking engagement in September, hopefully. We'll see. But thank you again.
So guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here. I really do appreciate it. And everybody join us next week when I interview another woman making a difference in the pet industry.
Thank you. Bye.